It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video. Right?
What's up, y'all? What's up? I'm back. Okay, how y'all doing on this good Saturday? I wanted to come to y'all for the girlfriends review. Okay, specifically episodes 5, 6, and 7, because I only had made notes for 5 and 6, and I was like, nah, I want to add 7 to this. So I added 7, and girl, the way I had to be up this morning watching the episode and crying again because the song gets me every time. We fall down. I tell y'all all the time that there are some songs that if you sing it, I'm gonna cry. And somebody, one of the subbies was in the comments on Instagram because I posted the video because I figured it was something that everybody could relate to who watch Girlfriends, and it would be like a cute way to, say I'm about to go live. But it was like somebody in the comments, raw somebody, she was like, ain't nothing in that episode worth crying over. And I'm like, girl, you have like it's on the screen, girl. It literally says season 2, episode 7. Go watch it. That's not something, girl. Everybody cries when they watch that scene. Are you a sociopath? And so it made me think about something about a friendship I had, right? I had a friendship. I know my numbers is hella low on this one. And the only reason that I haven't decided to just stop doing it, although, is because Kelsey, the glam twins, asked me to keep doing it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Anyway, so not just because of them, but they did specifically ask, like, don't stop doing these. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? If people are feeling it like that, even if it's not a lot of people, sometimes I feel like the small group of people that need to have these types of conversations, like it is more impactful to them. And so, to myself as well. So it's just kind of like, you know what? Cool. We'll keep doing it. But that situation in the comments made me think about one of my friendships that I'm no longer friends with anymore. And it reminded me of how when I cried, it made them uncomfortable. And this is something that, I have found very interesting, that people see me in a certain way. So if I ever display actual emotion and cry, it makes certain people feel uncomfortable because they like to view me as somebody, I guess that is, I don't know, a fucking sociopath, girl. I don't know. I don't know what y'all think of me. Okay. But I'm a highly emotional person. I just have a lot of control over my emotions as well. But girl, I feel all the things. I actually, I pride myself on my stoicism and the fact that people don't see that I am an emotional person all the time, because it's not for you to see. A level of vulnerability that I don't allow everybody to see, because everybody is not entitled to it and everybody will not hold the appropriate space for it, and then you'll piss me off, and then we don't want to go there, right? Because Gemini's is like we build a threshold between our emotions and going off on people a lot of the times. Like, people think I be going off just because I'm saying whatever I'm saying. That a lot of the times is not me actually being angry. But people will perceive it that way because any type of passion behind words is perceived as anger. Because I think other people, some people don't have enough vocabulary for anything. They don't have enough vocabulary for emotions. They don't have enough vocabulary to express how they feel themselves. So anytime you say something that is exactly how they feel because they don't have the vocabulary, that's not it. Yeah, okay, girl. Okay, girl. Y'all also don't have, not y'all, but y'all don't have the vocabulary for sexualities. Like, there are so many different identities that people can have. Like, y'all have a really hard time with this spectrum shit because things are, either this or that. And so if you see me as a person that is not easily punked, you then perceive me as someone that doesn't have emotions or some shit. It's weird. Yes, people take advantage when you are vulnerable. They absolutely do. Which is why it was so interesting. Y'all, I was sitting at a table crying over a bitch. I'm not, yeah, I know. I have to get past this point in my life. I know that there are so many people out there that would like me if I would not say bitch so much. But I just can't. Okay, listen. I was at a table and I started to cry over a bitch. And my friend at the time turns to me after, like, we've been talking about this for a while. But when I actually start to cry, she goes, "Oh my God, are you really crying?" Because she thought I was pretending to cry. This should have been a moment to let me know. Well, it did. It did inform me. It stayed in my mind. Like, cause I felt unsettled about it. Like something about it felt like we've talked about emotional things before. You've cried to me. Why when I cry, when we know I'm crying over a bitch, because we've been talking about this for a while now, why do my tears shock you? And I figured it was because, first of all, she liked to view me a certain way. So me acting outside of how she viewed me, like, annoyed her. I needed to always be like at a certain level or something like that. And I tell people all the time, like, please don't do that to me. I'm going to be who I'm going to be, how I'm going to be when I'm going to be that way. But you will always get the truth. And I am a very consistent person regardless. So when people act shocked sometimes, like, it's me realizing that you use your emotions to manipulate people. You pretend to cry. You use tears to manipulate people. So you assume that that is something that I would do. Like, my God, on today. But it made me realize that. I was just like, oh, wow. Hmm. We're not being reciprocal. Okay. And so now we're not friends anymore. And it's so funny because I had a situation similar happen in, like, what, 2020, 2020. Well, when did I go to Jamaica? That, what was that, 2022, 2021? I went to Jamaica in 2021 and 2022, one of them years. And I was going through a tough time. And I had a friend. So I went on this trip. And when we came back, we were no longer friends. And this was me realizing, like, I keep attracting people that see me as a good friend for them to be vulnerable with. But when it's my turn, there's this discomfort, like, oh, no, 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 no. Girl, not you, you know? And that one really hurt. Like, that one, that was the last time, like, I was really hurt over, like, a friendship. That was the last time, like, you know, it was like, okay, I'm really gonna care that much. And I appreciate the fact that over time, you stop having the same amount of hurt behind certain things. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but there are certain things that I used to be so hurt about, like the overwhelming feeling. Like, I would feel it all the time. Like, if I was going through a bad time in, like, a relationship, it wouldn't stop me from doing anything, but I would feel like so hurt. It would be agonizing. High school, early college years and shit. And with that friendship, that shit hurt. That shit hurt. Cause, like, a lot of times it'll happen and I'm, like, caught off guard because I don't understand what's happening. So it takes time for me to be away from it, for me to start thinking about it and realizing, oh, you hoes want to fuck me. And, there's that. But girl, you know, I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of my TED Talk. But yeah, friendships can be just as painful as romantic relationships. And I feel like that was absolutely shown in that episode 7. But we're going to get into it, okay? Because I have my notes, okay? And listen, you can get back up again. Another thing, though, when I was listening to that song, it was reminding me of where I used to hear it all the time. And that was during my prep years, I believe, when I was in high school and I was going to Xavier Prep. And that was an all-girl school. I talked about getting kicked out of there and, being accused of sexually harassing a bitch and all of that shit. They were really homophobic, and there was like this concerted effort to find the people that were gay and kick them out of school. So they were just always, they were just always trying to trick somebody up, trying to get somebody to tell on somebody, and all of this type of shit was going on. And I was, technically in the closet, but also in a toxic relationship with my girlfriend, who is my best friend. Um, and I had the abusive shit that was going on at home, and my dad and the pop off and all of that, and my, tumultuous relationship with my siblings. Like, it was so much going on at one time. When this song came out, like the emotion that I think I was experiencing, I think there was a connectivity between Donnie McClurkin making that song and what was behind him making that song, and how it felt at that time for us. Like, they used to play the fuck out that song when we was at prep. You can get back up again. I remember they have the liturgical dancers coming out and shit. Get back up again. Okay? Like that. It was a few. It was a few, like, they bring everybody in the school together for a meeting or some shit like that. And so it's a performance on top of whatever is going on. And girl, here come the liturgical dancers. You can get back up again. Like, so whenever I watch that episode, like, yes, the episode, like what's going on in their friendship, like everybody, the emotions are just so visceral in that scene. And even in that song. But also I feel like, it's a culmination of things, because like church songs make me cry. Like, I don't know what everybody is going through, but the last song that they play in church, if it's a slow song, I'm probably gonna cry. I'm very, very close to my emotions in that way. Like, yes, I am, like, I'm okay, but I'm not that far away from, okay, that song came on, bitch. Now I'm emotional. This commercial came on, girl. I am a woman. Like, I don't know what's going on. I have hormones. Like, what's that? Okay, child, y'all think a 38-year-old bitch not crying? What? It's healthy. It's healthy, girl. You gotta cry in the shower. You gotta cry. And you gotta cry no matter what. Sometimes I cry and I don't even know why I'm crying. Okay? But if I'm in private, girl, I just let the shit go. I just, cry, get it out. Get it out. Get it out. Oh, girl, I won't complain. Yes, Lord. I don't know the words to that one, but I know in my head, girl. Okay? Listen, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Gospel songs in general should be making people cry. True praise, total praise, anything by Yolanda Adams, the Clark sisters. What? That's why I be like, I don't know what people like. I don't know any Tasha Cobb song. Listen, don't be watching the goddamn Tyler Perry play and Tamala Man get her ass up there. Okay, Tamala Man, don't sing Tamala Man. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. I don't know, y'all don't be with me everywhere, so y'all don't know who I really am sometimes. Girl, I am a Gemini. We keep it together, but we feel all of them. We feel all of them. We feel all the emotions. How excellent, man. Oh, how excellent. Yes. Is thy name. Girl, don't. See, now I got the chills. Now I got the chills. Come on, not in the midst of it all. I be over here sliding down shower walls would take me to the king. Oh my God. Oh no, bitch. Oh no. Girl, yesterday by Mary Mary? Girl, now you gonna make me go listen to that later, and I'm gonna be in this bitch crying and sliding down the wall and shit. Listen, when she hold out that note for as long as she hold out that note, oh my God. And even though, like, that's why I said I deconstructed myself from the religion, because there are certain things that will always be with me as somebody that grew up in a church. Like, there are some things that I can always sit there and listen to the message and all of that. And there are things that I'm gonna, ooh, I don't like that. Like that happens every time I go to church. There's something. Oh, girl, don't like that. Ooh. And then there are other things that I feel and I understand. And then it's the community of it all. Like I tell y'all all the time, I love them people down to the St. Peter Cleveland Church. Okay, I love them dearly. Like that is my church family. No matter how I no longer subscribe to it. I no longer subscribe to it, but I still love those people. I love what some of those people were to me. Okay, God rest Miss Mary's soul. Like people loved me and cared for me in that space. So even with the bad things that happen because of church, so I will always value what's to value. I'm very much a eat the beat, eat the meat, leave the bones type of person. Take what you need and leave the rest. I don't need the shame and the guilt and the homophobia. And that's another thing before we get into girlfriends. Okay, I'm giving everybody a chance to get here. See, the numbers is going up. If I would have started as soon as I got here, 50 of y'all would have missed it. 60 of y'all would have mixed it. Somebody from a fake page, they ain't got no posts, fake page, came in my comments talking about people want to admit to themselves that deep down they know that homosexuality is unnatural. And like at first, like honestly, the comment when anytime somebody says something like that, which is so fucking like ridiculous and dumb, I'm gonna explain to you why. But I do want to say I am trying to curate a certain type of space. So I don't know where you hoes find me from. Because I know I say shit that's funny and people may, like some of the things I say sometimes. But then when we get on deeper topics, I'm going to push some of y'all away. And I do understand and I'm okay with that because I am trying to curate a certain type of space. For you to feel homosexuality is unnatural, you would have to understand what natural means, which means naturally occurring in nature. And since there are so many different species, you have to understand that a lot of the species are gay or both. Girl, penguins, seahorses, dogs, the monkeys, like, girl, what? Even sometimes the way plant life acts can sometimes be what you would say same sex attracted and all of this type of shit. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, bitch, cuz y'all love living in boxes that do nothing but choke you. So first of all, the statement is inaccurate, dumbass. Because to happen in nature is to happen naturally. And so since in nature, where animals and insects and other species live, there is homosexuality, it is in fact natural. What makes you think it's not natural is constructed fake shit like religion and societal expectations from other people. What we've come to understand, especially in the church, is that people lie and do whatever the fuck they want to do. And so since we understand that people lie and do whatever the fuck they want to do, we understand that sexuality is actually a spectrum and people are just lying because they don't want to argue and fight with everybody about who they are or what they do. Because sometimes they might want to fuck a man and sometimes they want to, fuck a woman. Some people want to be married to the opposite sex but have sex with the other sex. And some people are actually gay and then from time to time fuck, other opposite sex. It is fluid. It is fluid, ma'am. It's fluid. It is natural. It is natural. It is absolutely natural for humans to be attracted to other humans. No matter whether they have this, like, we're not that different in order for you to feel like, my God, this is an abomination. You're attracted to the same sex that you have? My God. Yes, bitch, I look in the mirror and I find myself hot. I find myself attractive. Every now and again, I turn my cell phone and I get scared, like, oh, bitch, not you turning your cell phone. And then I'm like, this must be some I'm getting older shit. And then I was like, okay, now I understand. Okay, as you get older, some things just kind of like, oh my God, when did that happen? That's cool. And you realize it's because you are no longer young. Some things you no longer care about. That's why when people be oh, Bondy, you are young. Yeah. In spirit and in age, absolutely. But in the way I I feel like process, no, I am very much old. Bitch, I am a old tree as far as as far as my spirit. Okay, I have been here and I feel like I have seen enough to understand that people tie themselves up with the same bullshit over and over and over again. I just saw a post on Hollywood Unlocked, people in the comments arguing because a mama says that she has made an executive decision to not allow her 17-year-old daughter to go to her 17-year-old friend's baby shower. Cause we're not, and then somebody in the comments, yeah, we're not supporting that. Girl, the baby is already there. 17, they're almost out of high school. Most people are having children around that time. Girl, I can remember judging my own, like, damn. But it wasn't judgment from like, oh, you know, you had a baby, you bad. No, it was, girl, why would you tie yourself up? As soon as you get freedom, you get a baby. That's what it felt like. Because for us growing up, being under your parents' household, is suppress, like, it's really suppressive. Like it's oppression. You can't wait to get out and go live your own life, right? And then you go have a fucking baby as soon as that happens. So now you gotta be in the house doing what you gotta do for this baby, and now you can't be free and do what you want to do for yourself. But it was never, oh, now I need to keep my, you know what I'm saying? I need to keep myself away from you because you got pregnant at 17 or 18. And I might have been 15 or 16 at the time. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, for y'all to think that people, like, if you have raised your children to be so malleable, it is your fault. I feel like as a parent, it is your fault if your child is malleable enough to go and get pregnant because her friend got pregnant. You did something wrong. You did something wrong, girl. And it's like y'all want to punish those like you want to punish them. You want to punish them. So, okay, let's punish the 17-year-old girl that has a baby. So now, instead of helping her and supporting her like we would do outside of this weird ass socialized matrix, okay? That's what tribe would do. If a 17-year-old girl gets pregnant in the tribe is going to take care of her and the baby. Nobody's going to kick her out and be like, you and that child fend for yourselves. Because then that would happen. Survival mode. Child struggles. Child turns into sociopath, bitch. Kills people in the neighborhood. Hello. So for everybody that says shit like, oh, it ain't nobody business how you raise your child, I need for y'all to understand that's a motherfucking lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. How you raise your kids absolutely affects everybody else. It is so weird that y'all are so used to saying that you truly believe it. You truly believe it. No. How you raise your children dictates the adults that they become, the people that they become. Okay? Now, we about to get into girlfriends because I know that's what y'all here for. Getting stuffy up here again. I think it's because all of the plants are in here. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. That your dogs with children, they can go downstairs and get your nose spray. My God. As soon as I stood up, y'all, what is that about? As soon as I stood up, y'all, I realized that I have a short torso. It didn't used to bother me. I'm getting older. Having a short torso and big titties is really starting to bother me. I don't want to feel like I need to get on those Ozempic. To be fair, some of the children aren't raised. Some of them just grew up. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Chick, I ain't seen you in a minute. Where you been? I just saw a video about how black children aren't taught to have meaningful relationships because we're taught not to get pregnant or not get anyone else pregnant. For real. Like that's all the work you gotta do. Don't have a baby. Bitch, eventually they're gonna have babies and y'all want them to have babies. Y'all just don't want them to have babies when you are still responsible for them. Which I'm not mad at you about. But anyway, girlfriends, Vasco and Lynn. Vasco and Lynn are living in Maya's mom's unfinished garage, and Lynn is growing tired of Vasco staying at home doing nothing. He has not found a job, and he wants to make a map of Black Hollywood stars' homes for tours. Okay, so let's just talk about the fact that they ever even did that. Y'all, they don't ever need to do that. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like, it used to be showing you Hollywood stars that had died. Like, they don't live there anymore, but that's their house. No. Y'all actually want the addresses of where people actually live. Vasco was like, I think it would be a great idea. Like, we want to know where Martin lives. It's like, no, Martin doesn't want you to know where he lives. Crazy ass motherfucker. Like, what's this is the early 2000s. People have gotten killed by paparazzi in the early 90s at this point, Vasco. That's not a good idea. Child, in 2026, they shooting up Rihanna's house and threatening to kill Mama Tina Knowles over some fucking beef stew gumbo. Listen, nobody needs to know where anybody lives. Joan just broke up with Sean. Tony is trying to force her to be sadder about it than she actually is. It's Tony, your therapy buddy, your sister, the one who has been with you through dumping after dumping after dumping. To me, Tony wants Joan to need her right now so later on she can use it against her, so she can weaponize it. Because later on it'll be, oh, I was there for you. I was there for you when you were going through your breakup with Sean. Girl, what? Get the fuck out of here, okay? Vasco created a candle-lit romantic place setting for the food that Lynn brought home from work. It wasn't a romantic dinner. It was a romantic place setting because she had to bring the food. He assures her that he is not lazy and he's just jet lagged for the past month. And to be honest, I don't think it's just that. I think it's depression. I think when you move to another place, it can be unsettling. But men are the only people I feel like that can actually move in with a woman and just decide to do nothing. Like only men. Because like, what are you going to do, bitch? What are you going to do? You can't beat me up. You can't physically remove me. So what you going to do? Nothing. You going to let me lay in the bed and dirty the house up until you get tired and threaten to kill me. So Mr. Sweetelson, y'all, I can't stand Mr. Sweetelson, but why do we all have a boss like that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand right now if you had a Mr. Sweetelson. A white man who has to talk to you in some type of like black terms, ask you about shit, ask you like you a representative for all of the black people everywhere. Always, jokey, but actually offensive, passive aggressive, microaggressions. Yeah, if you had a boss like that, raise your hand. Like, why? Why? Girlfriends was getting you ready for life, girl. Girlfriends got us good and ready to deal with white bosses that we want to punch in the dick. It did, girl. It prepared us. And what it taught us is you stay until you can't take it anymore, and then you quit. That's what it taught us. Okay, I see y'all in the comments. I see y'all. Women that want to live with men are God's strongest soldiers because I refuse to have a man in my house. You know what? We are. We are. I feel like we are absolutely doing God's work. We are. You just got to get you a man that really appreciates you for it. Okay. But yeah, Mr. Sweetleson comes to Joan's office while she and William are playing Bop It. Do y'all remember that? Flip it, bop it, pull it. Girl. Anyway, before he goes back to his office, because he came in there, hey, what's this rock hip hop music y'all are listening to? It's like, no, stupid. It's a game. Okay. She asked how things are with Tony because Tony was supposed to help him find a house. He says that, oh, she's a real looker. Okay. Because misogynist, right? I'm asking you about the business and you telling me about how you like her titties. And he's decided that he's not going to buy another home because he may be getting a divorce. Because obviously, a man that is this much of an asshole at work, his wife must hate him. He says that, oh, it's just a joke. He tells her that he doesn't want to disappoint Tony to her face and tells Joan to tell Tony that he won't be purchasing a home from her, which is unprofessional and really weird. And I feel like you're really just taking advantage of the fact that Joan is your employee, because I would have told you to handle that shit on your own. Nah, you could tell her. Nah, you could tell her. You could do it. Then he tells Joan that he's sorry to hear about her breakup from her sex addict boyfriend. It was probably for the best, though. No wonder she always looks tired. Passive aggressive microaggressions. You saying I look old. You all in my fucking business, and you talking about me like I'm a character on a reality show or some shit, or a zoo animal. I heard about your breakup with your sex addict boyfriend. Like, how the fuck do you know that? So now Joan has had it up to here. She's had it up to here, right about here. It's right about here right now, girl. Okay? Joan is pissed. Lynn is tired of taking care of Vasco. And Tony comes into Joan's house and says that she got fired from her job because she was too busy running behind them niggas and going to Jamaica and acting like Tony Childs could just do whatever Tony Childs wanted to do. But no, you have to take accountability for the fact that you let your business fall to the wayside because you was all in your emotions about dick. She pretends that she's not worried in front of Lynn and Maya, but when they leave, she falls on the ground in front of Joan begging for her help. And it's a funny scene, but the way Joan was sitting there with her arms crossed, like, girl, if you don't get off my fucking floor, get up. Okay? Tony Childs is deep in debt. Okay? Joan asks, is that your coat? Joan asks, is that your coat? Is that your coat? She gets up. She tells her to get out of her house. This friendship is over. She crossed the last line telling her boss her business. Joan starts packing shit up. Okay, Joan takes the shoes off her fucking feet. These are yours. Bop. Okay? When they got a magazine, I'm thinking it might have been a honey magazine or a book or some shit like that. She was like, you told me to read this, I didn't read it. This is yours, okay? Right? Like she's pissed. When she realizes that she said something, Tony, when she realized that she had said something about Sean, because the whole time Joan is packing shit up, she's like, what did I do? What did I say? And then she tells Joan that everybody and their mama knew that Sean was trying to, was a sex addict because he was trying to get everybody to go to his meetings. Because Sean being a sex addict and then him working on it was a performance. It wasn't real. It was a performance. And if you ask me, all he was going to do is find a woman who was willing to let him wear her coochie out, like Maurice and Kimmy. Like that's all that was. Okay. What else? Joan says, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to explain to people what's good about you. And I don't even know for myself. At first, I didn't believe you intended to hurt me, but now I believe you do. You don't wish me well, Tony, and I don't need anybody in my life who doesn't wish me well. So go. Okay? Get your shit and go. All right? And honestly, we were all happy. We were all proud of Joan because in this moment, girl, it was time. Oh, hell. It was time. My God. Girl, everybody got a Tony in their life. Everybody has a person in their life that person can kind of just like overreact. That person can fall apart because you're going to come and save them, or somebody's going to come and save them. So they can make bad decisions because they know that they can depend on somebody that's going to be there for them. And until one day that person might, because sometimes people don't get tired, but sometimes people get tired, girl. Sometimes people get tired. Okay, I have to go get my afro from downstairs because I don't know where my spray that was supposed to be up here is. Okay, but all I know is I like my plants, but I can't breathe. So I'm gonna run an ad and I'm gonna be right back. Okay, and support black business. Okay, I'll be right back. Hey y'all, this is a get ready with me. Okay, just a little something, something before I get ready for one of my daily lives. So, I just started growing my locks about 2 years ago now, and I color treated, and I do like a style here or there. And I really, really have noticed that my hair does the best when I keep it moisturized. And my regimen of spraying my hair with water and then following it up with Fab Hair International's Moisture Mist leave-in conditioning spray, girl. Listen, it's giving me everything that I need as far as the moisture on a daily basis is concerned. I've tried a lot of sprays and I really, really enjoy not only the way the spray bottle works, but also the way the hair feels moisturized after I've given it a spritz. There are so many great Fab Hair International products to try. And the Stimulate and Soothe Deep Cleansing Shampoo is one of my favorites. It actually gives your scalp a tingling sensation that makes it feel really, really clean. And then the Moisture Mask Deep Conditioning Mask is really amazing as well. Make my hair feel really, really moisturized after I had color treated it. The products are great and were created by a Black woman stylist who came from behind her chair to give her people the products she felt they really deserved. Fab Hair International is for all curls and coils, whatever your hair type. You can find something at Fab Hair International that will suit your specific needs. Right now, you can use my code Bondi15 to get 15% off of your purchase. Go to fabhairinternational.com, take their hair quiz, and find out which products will be perfect for your hair. Be a bougie traveler and shop fabhairinternational.com. I'm cute. All right, so I'm back and I can breathe. All right. So Lynn gets back from doing laundry and trips on trash because the apartment is trash. Like a crackhead lives there. And there's a pipe that's bust in the bathroom. So there's water all over the floor. And Bosco was just laying there on the bed, dead ass sleep to the world, like there was nothing wrong with his environment. And this is the reason why you don't live with men. And I think it's because when boys are children, women are always trying to make sure that they're not doing girly shit because you don't want them to be gay. Because apparently, teaching a boy to look around in his surroundings and see what needs to be cleaned up and then just making that a part of what he does is bitch shit. So, what we have, okay, are several men amongst the community that feel like they don't need to clean up after themselves. And so they're trifling. They've assigned cleaning up after themselves as something a woman does. They know how to do it. They can be clean. They will be clean to catch a bitch. That's how they'll be clean. Okay? Because the first time you go to a nigga apartment, he done cleaned it, it smell good. You thinking, oh my God, he's clean. If I live with him, he gonna be clean like this. No. That apartment looked like trash before he went ahead and cleaned it because he knew that you was coming over and he was gonna get some cutty. So Vasco says that Lynn needs to tell the landlady about the pipe spilling all over the floor. And Lynn says that the landlady lives across the goddamn driveway. Why wouldn't you get your ass up and go tell her about the pipe? Better yet, fix it, nigga. I see the way y'all build houses in Jamaica. You need to know how to fix a pipe. He tells her about the black movie star home ideas that he came up with, and she don't want to tell him it's dumb, but it's dumb. Joan tells Lynn, Maya, and William that she and Tony are no longer friends, and if they want to invite them both to something, just invite Tony. She's having a hard time right now, and she needs it. Maya says that she's getting rid of everybody. If I next, you may be, bitch. You may be, bitch. Because you're teetering on the line. Tony goes to talk to Lynn, and says that Joan is having a mood swing and she didn't do anything to deserve this. It's as if she thinks Lynn hasn't been there for everything. It's a delayed reaction from her trying to sleep with Sean, she's sure. Lynn says that's a chunk of it. Tony asks if going to the Tony asks if wait, hold up. Tony asks if going to the therapy session. Okay. Tony asks if going to the therapy sessions, apologizing, and being there for her when Sean dumped her, that don't count for anything. And that's what I was talking about. Like, you were trying to make her need you so that you could come to the rescue and use it against her later as a reason for why she should be okay with your continued boundary crossing. You's a habitual line stepping ass bitch. Okay? So Lynn says, I guess not, Tony. I guess it wasn't enough. And Tony asked if Joan had turned her against her. She turned you against me too. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. I ain't even mean to do that, y'all, to put my notes up on the screen. My bad. Oh my fucking God, y'all. I cannot tell you how crazy it is whenever, and it's not because it doesn't happen, right? But whenever you go up to people, oh, they turned you against me. Oh, they didn't turn you against me. Like, does anybody experience that with their family members or their friends in real life? Like having, you not have nothing to do with nothing and somebody telling you that shit? And it's like, no, see, just because you want me to go along with your bullshit, that's what you're here for. You're here for somebody to pat you on the back and tell you that your emotions are okay. And what this is a lot of times is it feels like a threat. I've had situations in my family where I feel like somebody has done something, right? They're wrong, but they go around to everybody crying and bitching a fit. And what it feels like to weaker personalities is that if I don't go along with what this person is saying, they're going to get upset with me and then they're going to go off on me. But the truth of the matter is the person wants to go off on you. The person is humbuggish. The person wants to create all of this turmoil. It wants to be able to control everybody's emotions, right? So when you don't go along with what they say, they have a fucking conniption. So that makes everybody in a family that doesn't want to fight with them just go along with whatever they say. So then it seems like they're ganging up on the other person simply because everybody just wants everything to go back to being peaceful. And sometimes that means the person who was wrong has to shut the fuck up and just get over it. That's usually how things work. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening in this situation. But because Lynn has to work a job and she's pissed off at Vasco, she don't have time to do this bullshit with Tony. I do appreciate that Lynn was always telling the truth in the moment when it was needed. Okay? And Lynn says, I'm not against you, but I do believe in karma comeuppance, meaning you get what you deserve. I feel like people are so like blind to how they generate the energy that they generate. It's this lack of accountability shit. You always want to believe that things are happening to you. You don't want to take accountability for your part and how it happens. And that's so aggravating because those people that act like that, they usually are very judgmental of other people. Very judgmental. But have this complete lack of awareness about how they are wrong. Girl, Lord have mercy. So Tony goes to Joan's office pretending that she wants to give her key back. And Joan doesn't give a damn. Tells her to leave the key on Maya's desk. Then she tries to guilt her and flip it on her. But Joan is not trying to hear her and Joan just ignores her. I also feel like subconsciously, Joan was teaching, okay? Because I hate the fact that we needed their relationship to be fixed. But ultimately, Joan tapping out on Tony should have persisted for a lot longer. We should have had to wait till the end of the season for y'all hoes to be friends again because you should have had to do more than cry to the Lord, virtue signal, and spiritually bypass accountability for how you showed up. And then after that, and we'll get into it later, but she, in another review, another recap, she then gets into the Bible and carrying around little Jesus until she gets tired of that. And then she goes back to being the same type of person, slightly different, which was a good enough change for a lot of us because she needed to become more likable. And I think she did as a character. But I also feel like as we go on, I'm sure we'll find other times where this same dynamic between Tony and Joan shows up. Okay. But anyway, Lynn decides to support Vasco's dumb Black Stars map. We hate this moment, but we know this won't last forever. Eventually she'll get tired. He'll move out. They'll be done. Joan breaks down when she and William are leaving work and he screams for Maya to come and, help hug her. And William reminds me of how men try to encroach on women's relationships, like the friendships. You want to be a part of the friendship without having to do the same emotional labor. And it also is very like condescending because it makes it seem as if emotions and being emotionally connected is something that is beneath a man, right? The man is like, oh, you women and your emotions. That's kind of how William handles them from time to time. And it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. And this is why men get ribbed. Men get ribbed about their hairlines and their lack of dick work and possibly being, we like to throw them being gay sometimes in there to, insult men. And it's because they often make women feel like shit just for being women. And everybody likes to go to hell on each other sometimes, okay? So, so this moment was cute and everything, but it annoys me how William shows up sometimes. Just not as somebody that's doing what needs to be done in the moment, but you know, I'm gonna hug you, and then Maya, come get her, get off of me, like nigga, what? You should be happy anybody wants to hug your ass, okay? And then at the end of the episode, we see Sweetelson holding William hostage at work so that they can play Bop It. And this is like another thing, having to, um, this is like, it reminds me of what it must have been like during slavery sometimes because you have to play these games with white people, right? They want you to amuse them. And because you work for them in a corporate job where you have earned your place there, they still want you to perform for them like a jester. No talk back. You stay as late as I tell you to stay. That type of shit. And I can remember at the news station, my boss like being mad because I didn't want to work another double. Get somebody else to do it. And then he calls my like immediate manager and says she doesn't know that she can't say no. Actually, I can. What the fuck do you think this is? I knew eventually they were going to try to fire me, but I was ready to quit before they tried to fire me. And so I started stacking my dough. And so when the time came, I was prepared. See? But I swear to God, I don't think anybody, like, I feel like all of that shit needs to be rebuilt. I don't think anybody needs to continue to work in spaces like that. I don't think anybody needs to be at a job, kissing ass, and doing emotional fucking labor because somebody wants to feel like they're in charge of other people and they're the boss. And, oh, girl, I can't stand that shit because those people are usually so miserable in their real lives. Like, usually at home, those people have miserable lives. But at work, they're a superior. Like, nigga, I pity you. I pity you. This is the only place you have any real power. Your power doesn't reside within yourself and resides inside these walls where you can have power over other people. But you don't have it within yourself because when you go home, all of that is left here. The fuck, bitch ass. Ooh, girl. I'm emotionally vested today. I'm going to get a massage. I was trying to stop drinking, but I swear I want some wine or something. Cause like, you drinking and you start like holding water and shit. You start, I was feeling tight in my skin, bitch. I was like, what is going on? I feel better today. Whew, gotta find out what pills you gotta take, y'all, so you could drink and not bloat and have water. I know one of y'all in the comments know. So that was episode 5. Episode 6. William and Yvonne still have not set a date for their wedding, and it's the anniversary of her quitting her job for this marriage that still hasn't happened. And that's because he doesn't really want to marry you. He just wants to control you, Yvonne. And he wants to control you because essentially he's weird. Like, William's weird. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, sometimes nerd niggas are the worst. Nerd niggas are sometimes the worst. And it's like they think people don't like them because they're a nerd. But no, it's like people don't like you because you don't know how to be like personable. Or if you are being personable, like you're so awkward and weird, and then you get defensive because you feel awkward and weird, and now you're being an asshole and nobody wants to be your friend. Like I don't know, like I feel like we used to deal with this same shit in school. Like don't everybody remember like that one annoying ass kid that wanted to be like a suck up and a know it all, but like to an extent where you couldn't do nothing around them because they was gonna always go and tell. Hey, bro, I hate those people. William be coming off like that. Magnesium and potassium bind. Okay, thank you. I have those downstairs. I definitely have some magnesium. So Yvonne kicks Joan's door open because she was in there singing and she thought that Joan was being murdered. Okay. Joan was beautifying her shoe boxes. So this is another moment where we are laughing at Joan, but what Joan is doing is actually something that a person who's well adjusted should be doing, which is having hobbies and things that make them happy. Like people who don't take themselves too seriously, or people who like just enjoy like little, small like art projects and shit like that. I feel like a lot of grown people think that there are things you can grow out of. So they have a tendency to try to bully you or laugh at you or be condescending towards you for having hobbies or liking to do things. Like Yvonne tells her that her beautifying her shoe boxes means that she just needs to get a man. And it's a real fucking projection because bitch, you need to get your career back and drop that man. Okay? You feel like you need a man. That's why you in a relationship with a man that can't accept you for who you are, and you have quit a career that you're very passionate about to be with him. Exchanging a chunk of your personhood for a relationship with a weird nigga. But I do remember, like, when I was growing up, you are made to feel as if everything you do needs to be centered around money or your family and nothing else. But hobbies are needed. And like my mom used to dance and shit. My mom used to dance a lot. They used to used to have a lot of stuff. But I think like over time, like just having to deal with my pa being mad or acting ornery because you went somewhere and did something, without him. So when you come back, he being all quiet and weird and shit and got an attitude. So now everybody walking on fucking eggshells and shit. Yeah, eventually you just be like, nah, I'ma just go home. I'm tired anyway. And you just don't do it because you don't want to cause any upset. Man, I always think about how my dad would have hated me. Like, in that type of situation, he would have hated a woman like me. He would have never been able to deal with a woman like me. I'm proud of myself. I'd be a terror to you, nigga. Okay, I'd have been a terror. You'd have to kill me. You had to kill me, nigga. Oh my God. Because as a grown woman, oh my God. The way, especially like sometimes I get mad that he's dead now because the way I would be calling him and we would, because me and my dad would have conversations. Like my dad was a smart person, like well versed, read a lot. So there were things we could talk about, but still ignorant old nigga, right? So I feel like I would have conversations with him as he got older, and I would probably be able to tell him something he was mad about, but he couldn't do nothing about it. So he just hang up the phone and then talk later. And I would really enjoy that. I would really enjoy you having to just deal with what I told you and not being able to do anything about it. This look on my face is him. I hate it. Anyway, y'all are so funny to me. I'm sorry. Okay, in my life. Okay. So after she finished shitting on Joan and telling Joan needs a man, she asked Joan for advice on how to deal with William seemingly having cold feet. Joan tells her that she's staying out of their business. Joan suggests maybe they should slow things down, do couples therapy. And when Yvonne wouldn't stop crying, she suggests that maybe they should just move in together first, right? That made her happy because then she could be there to have sex with him whenever he wants to have sex. Ooh, girl. I remember when I was younger and one of my older cousins told me that sex was overrated. And I was still, I'm in the beginning stages of being hot in the puss, right? I haven't had sex with a man yet, but I have been, finger fucking girls for dear life, right? So she says this, and I'm just like, shit. But now that I've gotten older, I realize why she said that. I realize why she said that. Because of the way sex is experienced. Sometimes women were using sex like at first as exploration and for fun, but ultimately just to connect to a man. They're not using sex to be pleasurable to them. They're using sex so that they can get close to a man because that closeness feels good, right? And getting pounded in the puss, apparently. And then after you get tired of getting pounded in the puss, because being pounded in the puss only works if the nigga got your mind. Like, I don't know if anybody else peeps that, but like dick is not consistent. Like, you could have a dude with excellent dick, right? Every now and again, he'll hit a spot and you'll go retarded, right? Like you'll be fucked up. Forgive me. And then there are other times when y'all having sex and it just hurt. Right? Like, oh my God. And then there are other times where it was just okay. I'm just saying. You should marry the person that makes you come the most. Just so we're clear. Okay? All that pounding and shit, that's temporary. But somebody that knows how to get you there all of the time, very, very important. Okay? I'm just saying, y'all. It's not consistent. It's not consistent, girl. Okay? You got to pick the most consistent dick. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know I ain't lying. Look, it's true. Yep, it's called the come fluff me feeling where you just want to jump on them. Yes. Okay. Sex is very overrated with men. This is also true. Okay. There is a certain level of showmanship and style that women have to have when they're, having sex with each other. Okay, you can't just pull your dick out, like, no, bitch, you gotta have like all kind of like finger tricks and shit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make a bitch have butterflies in the stomach and all of that. And I'm not talking about, from seeing you or being around you. I'm talking about from your fingers being. Let me move on. Okay, so Greg runs into Tony, Maya, and Lynn at the restaurant that they frequent, which made me feel like he intentionally did that, especially when we find out what happens in the next episode. But Greg is at the restaurant. Tony feels dumb for letting him go. She even switched seats with Maya so that she could see him. And this is when I feel like you can be apologetic and sorry, but there is a certain level of groveling that a woman should never do. Like, I'm just saying. Unless you're using it to make, right? I Papa done cry at the drop of a hat. And if she tell anybody I cried for her, I just deny it. Okay? I just deny it. All right? Sociopaths, okay? But no, like, to me, you can be sorry, but don't do all this. Don't do all this. Okay? You just, because you don't, I fucked up. I can't trust you. Okay? But you don't do all of this. Like, I feel like she was way too beggy. You know what I'm saying? So Maya complains about Darnell. Lynn complains about Bosco, and they decide to try and do a double date to make the men friends, right? When Greg gets up to leave, Tony runs out to tell him that, he was the one and she just made a huge mistake and she's sorry. And he says, thanks. He appreciates that. And then he just walks off. Okay. And in my mind, this is the moment that he plots to, get back at her because now he's seen how thirsty she is for him. And, he will care about the vengeance more. He will care about the vengeance more because on some level, he probably enjoyed seeing a woman like you lower her standards to be with him. It's not really about the fact that she was just wrong and she made mistakes and shit. That's not the only reason he's really upset. I think subconsciously he enjoyed being somebody that she would lower her standards for. And then when she cheated on him with a richer nigga, I think that bruised his ego a lot. When the truth of the matter is, just the fact that you would want to be with somebody and you know she's lowering her standards to be with you means that you were taking advantage in some type of way, as far as I'm concerned. Not in the same way, right? Like, of course, she wrong for cheating on him and possibly giving him a STD. Um, Chandra, what do you disagree with, sweetheart? You keep using words like pound, pounding. Do I? Because I'm talking about, like, y'all, or y'all that's in the comments that understood that moment. Am I tripping? Or was I talking about how young women, how our experiences? And I'm very like, what? You haven't had a man make love to your mind and your body. Mind with a D. Mind with a D. And who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Now, do you just? I just feel like it's one of the moments where y'all just be wanting to say out loud. Y'all just be wanting to say out loud, you know, girl, not me. Every dick I didn't fuck my mind and my body, girl. Every dick I didn't had didn't hit the spot. Like, okay, girl. Because like in a moment, what's happening is we're all having we're all having like this moment of like, how it is, right? You done had some and you had, that one boyfriend and he hit the spot and then the next time it was like, we're having a moment. We're all like commiserating about dick. And here she come. Not me. Y'all just don't know. Girl. Damn, girl. You just had to fuck up our little moment with that. Like, my God. Girl, read the room. All right, girl, you are better than us. You are better than us, okay? That's what I feel like was happening in that moment. Like, she just wanted to tell us that she better than us because, listen, she has had the passionate dick her entire life, girl. Okay? She ain't never had a nigga fuck up. Listen, I be like that when people talk about small dicks. I be like, girl, I ain't never had a small dick. I ain't never experienced that. But you could have let us have our little moment. You could have let us commiserate. Mm-mm. Sorry. Okay. Uh, she must have found her a consistent pounder. What I meant when I say pounding, okay, what I mean is that there's a difference between having an orgasm and having men that have a really good stroke game, right? Which makes you like flutter and all of that, right? Like you'll think about it later on and you should have go thump thump. Okay? Yes. But that doesn't mean that you have an orgasm. It feels great. Doesn't mean that you actually come from it. And I'm saying that it only works when the man has your mind. That's what I said. Your mind with a D. Yes. Okay. It only works when he has your mind. Just as you said, y'all ain't never, well, we're literally saying that the times when the pound is hitting in that way, it's because the nigga has your mind. Because great, and when we say pounding, we're talking about penetration. We're talking about the, okay, nigga pile driving you and shit. Okay, your face on the mattress, ass in the air. He's pushing your back down. Hopefully you have a strong bed. Girl, we know. But then there's another type of sex that comes with the dick knowing how to work in unison with clitoral stimulation. And when the dick can work good with clitoral stimulation, you have multiple orgasms. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because there are a lot of women out there that don't know anything about that. All they know about is getting pounded. Because a lot of women just want dick, right? Because that's what feels good. But they don't know anything about having actual orgasms that come with clitoral stimulation. I didn't know I needed to, be that direct. But just in case anybody was confused, okay? Especially as you get older. Especially as you get older. Listen. Getting pregnant, like, how did that happen? Yeah, you teach the children, aka adults. Listen, I don't know who needed to hear it, but that's what I meant when I was saying that, just in case. Okay. Anyway, back to it. I'm sorry, y'all. This is why people like the girlfriends conversations, because we just end up talking about all kind of shit. And the build up by stimulating the body. Yes. Yes. Okay. Warm rooms. Okay. Different textures. I got a book I want to read too. Y'all mean I want to get into Kama Sutra and shit. I think sex is an art form. You know? It's like a mastery thing. You just got to gain more information. Anyway, so yeah, what I was talking about, William is upset at Joan for suggesting that he and Yvonne move in together. William says that them moving in ahead of time would cheapen the marriage. No, it wouldn't. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Joan says, oh, because I thought you were getting cold feet. He says that he's not. That happens all the time. You read somebody accurately, they don't want to admit it, they tell you you're wrong. Yvonne brings her clothes over to William's house to talk about, moving in. She's talking about moving into his closet and he could move his stuff to another room. So she already coming in and disrupting shit without even like a conversation. And that's another thing. Like, I can understand why men get annoyed. Because why wouldn't you just have a conversation with him about how that was going to work out? Who just brings their clothes over to a nigga house like I'm about to move in? Who does that? Because it feel like that's what she did. Anyway, let me move. Later on, well, first of all, he tells her that it was a mistake, her moving in. Later on, he goes to Joan's house and tells her that he broke up with Yvonne like she told him to. And that was him shifting the blame because that is not what she told him to do. She told him to be honest. Y'all could not live together and not break up. And you know that. But you want to break up. You just don't want to be honest about it. Talking about he's not ready for marriage. We know. You just wanted marriage because you wanted to trap that girl. Because you wanted to keep her. Because you wanted to stop her from doing what was best for her. Because it inconvenienced you. It made you feel uncomfortable because you still wanted to have a certain level of access to her. So her job scared you. So instead of him having to sit in the uncomfortability of not Lynn, Yvonne having a career that scared him. So what? You're uncomfortable, but that's who you fell in love with. That's who she is. Get over it. Or leave her alone. But don't come into her life and try to change her for your benefit because you can't be uncomfortable. That's not fair. Just like that's what she would have been doing, coming into his house, moving his shit into another closet and moving all her stuff into the closet in the bedroom. Similar situation. Maya and Lynn have their double date with Darnell and Vasco. Darnell is annoyed that there's no meat because y'all know Lynn is a vegetarian, so she made shit that didn't have any meat. Vasco has no job. And so they're trying to get the men to rub off on each other. Darnell and Vasco commiserate on lifting up heavy baggage. Y'all know Darnell works at the airports as well as having his shop. And Vasco was a baggage handler at the hotel that Lynn and them were at. So they talk about how a certain luggage that they have to carry is always cutting into your hand. So now they didn't had a moment to connect. And so that makes everybody, kind of warm up a little bit. Darnell says that the night will be better once he gets some ribs and pulls the TV into the garage, which is annoying because it's you then not appreciating how shit is set up and deciding that you're going to change it without even asking. Like, that's so, I don't know why niggas have to be that way, but I've experienced a lot that whenever you try to expose a specific type of hardworking black man to something, if it's something that they're not familiar with, it makes them feel like they're out of control. So they would rather just, like nobody cares about that. Instead of, because I guess it's vulnerable to never have tried something before and then decide to try it and be like, that's good. Or I don't really like it. But it's like, I was just like, and then you go and get the TV, which was annoying because now that means y'all don't have to have conversations. Another situation where you're avoiding y'all just having conversations and talking and getting to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's a distraction, like a lack of intimacy somewhat. But maybe it's just me, girl. He worked on my nerves. But they were having a good time. Darnell tried something new. He actually liked some of the food. Darnell offers Vasco a job, so everything was working out. But then Lynn says that they'll finally be able to get out of Maya's mom's garage. And Maya says that her mom is going to hold them to their 6-month lease. And Lynn is like, and what's she gonna do? Sue us? Lynn jokes that she should sue her because there are no walls and there's still a leaky pipe. Maya says, she said, well, why can't Vasco fix it? Since he doesn't have a job. And so now they're going back and forth. And Lynn still wants him to get a job at the airport. So when Darnell and Vasco start fighting, it's like, hold up, stop. Everybody just calm the fuck down. Darnell's job, because then he starts downing Darnell's job. I don't want to be, no luggage man or whatever the fuck he said. And it's like, nigga, that's what you was doing at your other job. Don't act like it's beneath you now. Darnell makes a joke about Vasco's accent, which was very xenophobic or whatever you want to call it. But I'd rather say xenophobic than to say racist, right? Talking about him saying tings instead of thing, learn the language. It's like, nigga, it's an accent. That is the language. It is patois and broken English and shit, but it's just simply an accent. And I know that oh my God, that's because black people become white people on some level. Black people have always got to be changing themselves to fit in with white people. So they feel like everybody else got to change themselves to fit in with everybody else. And it's like, no, we can all be different and you can try a little harder to understand what the fuck he's saying. But you knew what tings was, nigga. Okay? Like, can you imagine? Like, that's how you know a white man wrote the script. Because can you, in this moment anyway, I can't imagine a black man turn into a Jamaican man talking about speak the language right. Nigga, what are you talking about? What? Anyway. So, oh yeah, and Maya always defending her mama like a fucking guard dog. I get the inclination, but it does give emotional enmeshment and codependency. To me, the way Maya always defends her mom, even in moments where it's unnecessary, it kind of, like I get it, but girl, your mama is fucking over your friend in this situation. And if she just wants to move out under these conditions, girl, they don't have the money. They can barely pay you. And you're going to try to make them stay for the remainder of the 6 months so you can get that little extra bit of money. But you don't want to fix the pipe. And there are no walls separating the bathroom from the rest of the garage. Girl, that should have been a month-to-month situation anyway. Like, I feel like people are just always trying to take advantage or trying to do the shit that they believe white people do. Because that's what this felt like. Girl, it's a fucking garage, not an apartment building. And I even feel like that is fucked up. Y'all always trying to charge people for some shit. Just a whole bunch of greedy little bitches. Like, you already get a deposit and all of that. Anyway, Greg shows up to Tony's apartment unannounced. And, she was doing her little beautifying. So she had like a mask on and her hair up. And she closes the door on him and hurry up and takes her face mask off. And he has an invitation to his next art show. And he says it's inspired by her. Of course, way too excited. He asks if she wants to keep with the small talk or can he kiss her. Y'all know they fucked. That's basically what happened, girl. He came over there with a little raggedy ass ticket to his art show, used her for inspiration, and then fucked her. All she got was a ticket to an art show she wasn't going to anyway, and some dick. And in this situation, I'm sure that was the equal exchange. William and Joan are playing charades and having a really great time, and then William says that this is depressing. Playing stupid parlor games with my work friend. Meanwhile, Joan is seeing this as an opportunity to expand her life beyond dating and Tony. So it's like at every turn, when Joan is trying to do the things that she actually should be doing, one of her friends has to show her how lame she is for doing it. It's very obnoxious. It's very obnoxious to me. Is it just me, y'all? That feels like every time you turn around, they're like doing something with Joan, but then trying to play her about it. Girl, I still play charades to this day. To this day. It's fun. It's fun. Like, I'm a firm believer in going back for whatever in your childhood helps you. But I'm also a millennial, and we are very good at, going back to get the younger version of ourselves. That's why a lot of us are mentally the most healthy in comparison to the generation before us and after us. Yeah. So that's also why we look young. So William goes to talk to Yvonne, but she's cleaning her gun. So he goes and gets Joan and puts her in front of him and tries to get her to talk to him about, getting back together. He's sorry. He made a mistake. Yes, he has cold feet. And I was just like, why the fuck Joan got to be between you and your old lady and a gun? That made me, girl, that was another moment that everything, it's supposed to be ha ha ha. So funny that we're willing to sacrifice Joan. Nigga can't even give Joan a hug, but got her in like, nigga, you couldn't have a conversation with her from the other side of the door. You had to go get Joan to stand there. Like, it's always supposed to be like just a funny moment on the show, but it's annoying to me because it just makes me feel like all of these little moments where your friends ain't shit. Your friends ain't shit, Joan. Okay. He proceeds to use Joan as a cautionary tale of a charades playing hanger padding psycho with no man. I'm going to say that again. He proceeds to use Joan as a cautionary tale. This is why Yvonne should get back with him, because she might become Joan, a charades playing, hanger padding psycho with no man. So somebody like to play games, do arts and crafts, and doesn't have a man is a psycho. Do y'all see the conditioning? Do y'all see the conditioning? And then y'all always talking about, oh, it's just a show. Is it? Or is it a representation of the time? Girl, she doesn't want to end up like Joan. So now they're going to get married on Valentine's Day. Oh, right. Because that's how you want to get married, by being threatened to become an old cat lady. Like, girl, if you don't just take any old nigga that wants you, you might end up alone. And they still telling us that to this day. To this day. And guess what? I like spending time alone so much, I would be okay with it. Also, I'm a realist. And what I do know is relationships don't always work out. And then also people die. And you will still then be alone. I would rather be alone than to get in a relationship with somebody, be miserable, and then when they die, I'm old and I've wasted all of this time and I'm still alone. Like, people don't be wanting to be realistic. Like, nigga, I might outlive you anyway. Get away from me. Like, if I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But this is what was going on back then. This is the mindset amongst the women back then. And that's why I'm in starch opposition of it now. Like, somebody was in the comments and talking, and I blocked them because I was like, if that's what you think we're saying, blocked. Talking about y'all always trying to produce a cesspool. I don't know what they were trying to say with that, but I guess because we're, I guess that conversation about everybody being gay, which is really me just trolling, right? I do believe that sexuality is a spectrum, and I can't really know the truth of anybody's sexuality because people can say anything and they can lie. That's the point of that statement, that everybody's gay, because essentially you could never really know who's lying and who's not. I know women that used to date women back in the day and are married to men now. I know women that were, with men back in the day and they're with women now. You know what I'm saying? Like, people live their lives not the same all the time. So at the end of the day, like, us always trying to label and put things in boxes because we just don't want to accept the fact that you could never really know anyway. So you might as well just prepare for as much of it as you possibly can by being safe. It's not about being in a cesspool, bitch. That's why we keep saying wear condoms, because people are fucking anyway. That's the point. That's the point. Oh my God, because people really think like this lack of understanding about sex, this binary thinking about gender and sexuality is going to save them from something, when the people who get HIV and AIDS the most is women that's married to men. Women that are married to men. That's who has the STD now more than ever. Women that are married to men. Because you believe your man is straight and you could never really know that. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know just as much as you know. And I'm not saying that, you don't really know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know you. Your man could be lying to you, girl. Especially the way y'all love, especially New Orleans women. New Orleans women be wanting to be so fucking homophobic, and y'all love a nigga that went to jail. What you think happened in there? You think they gonna tell you about it? So you think because they don't tell you about it, it didn't happen? But y'all love y'all a rough and tumble nigga that ain't been in jail. Don't even realize how the things you are mostly attracted to are a lot of the times the niggas that's out here doing whatever the fuck they want to do, and they just gonna lie to you about it, bitch. They just gonna lie to you about it. Girl. That's what I'm saying. You worry about the wrong shit. Worry about making sure your coochie don't get infected with anything by protecting yourself and having discernment in your relationships, and not being so thirsty for a man that you would be delusional and want to believe that somebody is straight because that's what makes you feel comfortable. And so then you can have unprotected sex with him and catch a STD anyway. That conversation, like, people just be making weird comments, and I'm like, I don't know why y'all are on my channel. Like, I don't know why y'all are like over here by me. I don't like, homophobic people have made my life very, very difficult. Leave me alone. And that's another thing y'all don't seem to like respect. When people don't care to like want y'all as subscribers or followers and shit. Like, consent is important. Like, you could be homophobic, but don't talk to me about it, because it's not welcome. What are you talking about? Goody Gabber. Girl, what you said? Gen X are here. The look back on these shows is a difficult blend of cringe at the old tropes and being glad that at least we had the shows. I opted out of marriage 2 times because something felt off. And that's another thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with not being married. Like, y'all, it's just it's just a made up thing. It's just a made up thing that, binds you to somebody legally. We saw Oz, and that show was just a small percent of what happens in jail. Exactly. Years later, my instincts to not wed were actually my intuition. Yes, because it is entrapment. It's entrapment most of the time. White House Transit, thank you for the super chat. I love your recaps on Girlfriends. I can't wait to see your take on Joan's story arc in the coming seasons. Also, have you seen the show The OC? I have not. I heard about it, but I haven't seen it. I'm 55. I'm going to go alone. I'm okay with that. The peace vibes are high. I love it here. And I love that for you, okay? And that's another thing. Like, I feel like women who are single and like older, sometimes they be looking like they have the best lives to me. Most of them are like dressing well, looking good, eating good. They have beautiful lives. Like, in no one person, like, they have friends and they might have lovers, but they're not like tied down to one person. That doesn't mean that they don't have, little pick-me-ups, or, a moment where it was just really enjoyable, and then it had its moment, and it goes, and then, you're back, but you're so good with being alone that those moments are just like cherry on a cake, like, just a little extra, just a little extra, you know what I mean? And I feel like, that may not be the place that we're always in, but I think that's the place we should be striving for, to be good, within ourselves, to the point that we don't need other people to be happy. Not in that way, not romantically. You might need people like your friends and your family and shit. Connection. Yes, we as humans absolutely need human connection, but we don't need fairy tales. We don't need romantic relationships all the time to have those things. And I just feel like we underestimate how unsafe it is to constantly be trying to find somebody. You know what I mean? I was watching a little bit of this reality show, The Age of Attraction, and I was just like, the fact that people are still willing to go on reality shows and date fucking strangers. Like, we haven't seen how many times it comes out that people are lying about everything. About everything, girl. Anyway, so let's get into episode 7. That's gonna be the last one I'm gonna do. And this is the one I was crying on, okay? Because we fall down, bitch, and we get up. And Donnie McClurkin fell off the wagon a bunch of times and kept getting back up. Okay? I stopped liking Dick. I like Dick again. I prayed. God forgave me. I stopped liking Dick for a little while. Damn, I slip and fall on some Dick. Now I'm praying again. See, that's stupid. That's stupid. You say that the person that has those feelings is unnatural. No. I think what's unnatural is y'all fucking children. I think that's unnatural. I think people that are adults liking the same sex is very much natural. It is natural. It is natural. Fight your mom. It's natural. Because it happens. It's naturally occurring in nature. It happens. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. I'm tired of y'all. Yuck. Yuck. So, episode 7. Get back up again. But I mean, y'all know that's probably why he made that song. Y'all know that's probably why Donnie McClurkin made that song. Because, he kept falling off and had to get back up again. Okay? Not too late. No matter what they say. And then also, the idea that you can forgive and forget, to me, that can only be tied to you trying to forget your sexuality. Like, I know that they say that in church, but that's stupid. I don't think you should ever forget. You don't forget. How do you learn if you forget? The point of going through shit is to learn from it, gain new perspective, new wisdom, and move forward differently so you don't go through the same thing again. Sexuality is not one of those things. Sexuality is not one of those things, girl. And if you can't stop cheating, then you don't need to be married neither. That's what I mean. Like, what else do y'all do? Okay? What, drugs? You need help for that. You got to work on that because you don't want to die. That's unhealthy. There are some things you got to, you might fall off. You might make a mistake. You clean it up. I already explained what natural is. You can also Google the definition of natural. I've already explained. I love y'all, but if I'm not for y'all, y'all just got to go. It's all right. It's okay. Maybe one day, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one day you'll be on my frequency, but if you're not, it's okay. I accept it. Okay? So, episode 7, Maya and Lynn are having dinner with Tony, and they rush her off because they've double booked with Joan. So, as soon as she walks off, Joan walks in. Joan goes to the bathroom, and then Tony comes back because she forgot her magazine. And in order to get out of this situation, Maya and Lynn scatter and they run. It's the funniest shit. So this episode is the Halloween episode. So Joan, of course, is having a Halloween party, and Tony and Greg are back together, and she's supposed to be trying to get this big ass pumpkin so that they can make a jack-o'-lantern together. And the party at Joan's house has no men because Tony used to bring them in, and her and Tony aren't friends anymore. And William shows up as a pimp. I love this moment because it shows you how, like, there's a certain, like, no matter what, men kind of value pimps. No matter what. Even if they think that, that ghetto life is something to look down on. There is something about pimps that all men admire, and it is the ability to manipulate and use women's bodies for money. Okay? All niggas think that's cool. Okay? Then you could lie if they want ask them, they'll be like, nah, I don't think pimp shit cool. Bring up an actual pimp. Bring up say Ice-T. Watch everybody get respectful. Yeah, nah, I fuck with him. Okay? Um, okay, cool. Okay, cool. But yeah, just rewind because I explained it already. When Tony gets back to her apartment from getting a big ass pumpkin, got a big ass pumpkin. Y'all, where did she get that basket from? What place let you take the baskets home with you? This was so unreal. Like y'all, the every store that I have ever been to, when you get a basket, the wheels lock. When you get a certain ways away from the parking lot. So how, my God, did she get this big ass pumpkin? Like they couldn't just get like a reasonably sized pumpkin. And then after this scene, she goes to Joan's house and she still has the pumpkin. So you mean to tell me in the stress you picked the basket and the pumpkin back up, and then you decided in all of your dismay to just go ahead and take it back over so you put it back in the car? Or did you walk to Joan's house? How far away do they live from each other? You know what I'm saying? Like this was just so unrealistic to me. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So when Tony, so Tony comes in, big ass pumpkin basket. It's a lot, right? She turns around, and Greg's on the floor with a girl on top of his lap, and the girl is like, "Oh my God, thank you for letting us use your apartment." And he's like, "Yeah, that's right, Tony. It's payback." Okay? Because I was the perfect man. I loved you for who you were. Okay? I didn't care about that you were a bitch. I loved you no matter what. And you cheated on me and tried to give me a STD. Well, how you like this now? How you like it now, Tony? And she said, "Get out." And he left. Sometimes your standards protect you. Sometimes your standards protect you. Because men who don't have money, but they're around people who have money, their woman has money, usually those men are insufferable. They might be bums. They'll have good dick, but they're insufferable. And insufferable men do terrible shit to people. So I told y'all I was watching The Age of Attraction. So me and Lyric was downstairs watching that shit the other night. And this one guy is talking about how, he married the wrong woman and how when you invest in the wrong person, how terrible it could be. And in my mind, I was like, I feel like all that nigga said was that she left him. Like he was so in love with her and she left him. And that was like it sounded like that's the only thing she did. And then later on, a woman starts to talk about what she went through in relationship. She says it was really terrible and she just starts crying. And I just know that it wasn't the person just leaving her. Men will feel like a woman leaving them is the worst shit that anybody could have ever done to them. A woman, the nigga will have tried to kill her. Left her with a baby. Okay? Now let's be clear, Greg, you did not get an STD. Okay? You didn't. You didn't get the STD. Not for lack of trying. But you acting like she gave it to you. Okay? Calm down. Greg was a bitch. I really do feel like Greg was passive aggressively harming Tony before. And because he comes off as accepting of her being a bitch, nobody pays attention to that. That often happens. If a woman has a strong personality, that's the perfect person for a man to abuse because everybody will always think that that woman is the aggressor. Always. It's the craziest shit. But that's what they want to believe because we want to believe that men aren't the problem. So if a man gives you enough evidence that he's not the problem, you're going to believe that. And if the woman talks too loud, she's obviously the problem. And that's how this was with him and Tony. Because to me, you could be hurt, but for you to be the type of person to do this to her, knowing that she's sorry. Because if you didn't know she was sorry, you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of her. But the fact that you wanted to get back with her, get her hopes up again, be kissing her and fucking her and doing, like, you really were having this relationship with her. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking you. And then I'm going to dump you and I'm going to cheat on you right in front of your face. And it seems as if he just did the same thing to her that she did to him, but it's not. We were there. We watched it. It wasn't the same. The energy was not the same. Tony did not have an attitude towards Greg like, oh, I'm going to hurt you on purpose. It really was, I'm tired of being with a broke nigga. I'm tired of the way he acts. And let's not forget, like, we talked about it in the last season recaps about how much of an asshole Greg was to Tony, no matter how much Tony tried to help him. Because it's hard to be with a man that doesn't have shit when you have shit. So yeah, I feel like this is one of them situations, like when you really look at it, what did Greg lose? Greg didn't lose anything but Tony. Yeah, you got cheated on. Your ego was bruised. When she started going through it with him, she stopped focusing on her business. Now, it's all her fault, but this is just how the shit will happen. She fucked up her business. Her friendship was ruined because of it. All of this is her responsibility, y'all. Please be clear. But she lost so much more than he did. She lost her job. She lost her friendship. I think she might have lost her car. I can't remember. But she lost a lot being in a relationship with him, when really she was always betraying herself by being with a man that was lower than her standards. I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Because, like, why would you do this? Like, this is too much to me. He was mean. Yeah, he was mean. He was mean. And to me, if you're that mean to this woman, it means you really always hated her. And you probably hated her before she hurt you. So anyway, Tony being distraught and doing what Tony does, which is, I'm hurt. So now I can act like, I'm all fucked up and I don't know where I am and all of this. So she goes over to Joan's house crying. Maya and Lynn go outside because all of the women are humping on William's legs. So they go outside because they almost feeling tempted to hop on his leg and hump on him. And that is because this is showing you that women are attracted to pimps. Okay? I just heard something recently. I was watching TikTok where they talked about how, everybody's stupid now because they take all of the nuance out of everything and commercialize everything. So people don't realize vampires are metaphors for grooming, for older people that, want to fuck younger people, and how our society is okay with it and what it actually feels like. And I'm like, you ain't lying. Because when you go back and rewatch Breaking Dawn and y'all know all of the Cullen vampires and shit. Y'all seen that shit, right? Y'all read those books. I read the books. The books were much better than the movie, but the movie was still good. But y'all know that lady was racist, right? But either way, the concept of a old ass vampire getting with a young ass girl and us acting like because he's attractive, and that whole thing, even when you think about the way pimps and Dracula have similarities, like there's a level of femininity in the alluring aspect of pulling and alluring the woman, pulling the woman in. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? But I thought that, yeah, Twilight, thank you. But yeah, pimps and vampires, y'all, old niggas. These are synonymous, okay? Starting to pay attention to these things. So Joan comes outside and looks at her, and she looks pathetic, and you could tell that Joan is sad, but Joan says, I think it would be better if y'all take her back to Maya's place. Always a teenager, a child. Yes. Or like a long level of coercion, right? Like, or like a significant level of coercion. Or like Vampire in Brooklyn. Vampire in Brooklyn, she's grown and everything, but when you think about it, she did not want that man. She was turned off by him, and he love bombed her. Show her all of the dates she wanted, said all of the shit that she wanted to hear, and almost got her in, but she wasn't really feeling him like that. So when she like, no, I don't want to be with you, and not a nigga stalking her, Rita, you can't run. You can't run from who you are, retard. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really put that in regular terms, and that's like the perfect example because, right, didn't he look just like a pimp, like a 70s pimp in Vampire again, in Vampire in Brooklyn? It was the exact same thing. And him being with her was based on a certain level of coercion and things no longer being in her control. He was stalking her. Yes, he was stalking her. Bram Stoker's Dracula, past life old. Right. Never watched Twilight. Too fake for me. Okay. Pimps literally dress flamboyant. Yes, pimps are only seen as masculine because they use and abuse women. Exactly, which is crazy. Like the more you don't want them, the more they chase you. Yes. Yes. That was a metaphor for that. So, like, now that you think about it, don't it make more sense? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was fascinating. Like, I know that, but like you recognize the theme. But until somebody puts it together for you, girl, now you looking at the shit all different. I don't want them to end up together. The fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like now watch Twilight back and be like, so you wanted to die for that nigga? You wanted to die for that nigga. Then you wanted to, and then, oh my God, when you turn somebody into a vampire, you turn them into somebody that then goes and gets somebody else to pull in. And if y'all notice, pimps do that, right? Pimps will convince, like, look what R. Kelly and them did. They get one of the girls to go and get other girls for them. That's the same thing as a vampire turning somebody into a vampire so that they can make more vampires. And then that's also the same thing as men or people, period, that sexually assault children, and those children grow up and then sexually assault other, people or children. Right? Girl. So yeah, y'all. Just conversations. The next day, William tells Joan that she was too hard on Tony. So now allowing Tony access to her in her home means that Joan was stumping on her when she was down. Then he starts talking about himself. So Lynn and Maya come running in, and it was basically them trying to convince William to talk to her because they thought that, that's who she would listen to. It annoys me because Joan said, I don't want to be her friend anymore. So that means she shouldn't be able to come to me crying and then I change my mind. We're not friends anymore. I'm not a person you can depend on like that anymore. But you come here anyway because you want to disrespect my boundaries and you want me to go against what I said I wanted for myself and put you ahead of myself. And now, because our friends feel bad for you, they're doing the same thing to me. The same people that told me that I needed to check you and shit. Now they're coming to me telling me that I'm wrong because I don't want to allow you access to me. Wild. Wild. So William says real friends don't get all emotional and go to therapy. This is what men would think. And then eventually y'all are miserable because y'all don't have anybody to talk to. They just pat each other on the back and get over it. And this is when he started calling them lesbians, which was hilarious to me. I feel like that might have been a joke that people were making about them because there is a certain aesthetic that like LA, Los Angeles lesbians have. Los Angeles lesbians were the we don't wear bra crowd. Black women a lot of the times are not we don't wear bra crowd. So when these hoes came on TV with with their titties out and wearing beaters and shit all the time, it is given like West Hollywood lesbian, right? Also, that's what they wanted. Like men wanted to see these women like that. So William and them were joking about it and calling them lesbians and shit. It tickles me every time. So Tony goes shopping with no money and she's having a mental breakdown in the store. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that. Girl, you don't have any money. You can't get any of this. And so then the guy that works at the store calls and gets Maya and Lynn to come and get her. And Tony is talking about how she's ready to go home to Fresno because there's nothing left here for her in Los Angeles. Not a job, a man, or a friend. They tell her, Maya specifically tell her that she needs to take responsibility for how she ruined her relationships. Maya went into tough love. Okay. But yeah, no, she needs to take responsibility. You cheated on Greg, for one. First, you betrayed yourself by being with him, regardless to the fact that he did not fit your standard. Okay. And no matter how he treated you and talked to you, you were often, I feel like, betraying yourself to be with him. And then you cheated on him. And then after that shit didn't work out, you tried to go back with him and nigga fuck over you and all of that. And you shouldn't have went back with him. Like, you need to be accountable, okay? You got an STD because you had sex unprotected with a man that you didn't know, assuming that he was clean because he was a doctor. See how you can't assume shit about men? No matter what they tell you, no matter what you think, you can't assume anything. See? And then also with Joan, habitual line stepping. Never giving a fuck, always just showing up to get what you need. And then when it's time for somebody else, you're bored. Like, you need to take accountability and change that behavior. And so what do black people do when they need to take accountability? They don't actually do anything. They go to church. So even though I was emotional and I was crying, because that's what this song and this scene does to me every time, and I'm an emotional bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so funny because I was like, I'm going to post it because I know everybody going to think I'm crying because of all of this shit that's going on. I know somebody going to be like, I saw Bondi crying. And she probably was crying because I don't give a fuck. I've actually been quite, it felt like I unlocked a new level. It felt like I unlocked a new level because I think old me would have felt like panic around that situation. And actually, I not only felt kikied but relieved. And also, like, because now I don't have to, hold my tongue if I don't want to. Because you're going to get mad anyway. So once you do that, then, oh well. But I knew people was going to think that. But no, girl, absolutely not. Y'all are not okay if y'all think that. Not crying over that, girl. But I will cry as soon as you start playing We Fall Down by Donnie McClurkin. Listen, I don't need to make sense to anybody but myself. So we go to church and Donnie McClurkin is up there. We fall down, but we get up. Oh, yeah. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down, then got up. Say it again. You can get back up again, get back up again. Shout out to Jade. Okay, Jade is an actress now. Okay, and Jade used to be killing the liturgical back when we was at prep. When they did We Fall Down, you could get back up again, get back up again, get back up. Send this to my homegirl. She know what I'm talking about. All us that went to prep. You could get back up again, get back up again. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down, got up. Say it again. Girl, I got chills. I know somebody remember this shit. Okay, but y'all, there's just certain songs I'm gonna cry. So Joan is at church, y'all, and Joan is sitting there feeling it. You know what I'm saying, right? This scene now makes me think about Roxanne Forest Rocks on YouTube. My girl, because she's from LA, and she would sometimes tell stories about when she used to be in her church choir and how big their church was in a choir and how everybody. And so whenever I see like churches in LA like this, like a black church, but you see these little sprinkles of white people, I imagine this is the type of church that Roxanne was at. I don't know why. Well, that's my girl. Okay, so when she talks about it, this is how my mind works. Now I'm thinking about, okay, Roxanne in a church choir behind Donnie McClurkin. You know what I'm saying? With a cute little shortcut, okay? You can get back up again. Get back up again. Shit. I was in a choir. My mama is in a choir, girl. We love us a choir. So Maya, Lynn, and Tony show up to church, and Joan is like, really, Maya? I can't even have church to myself. And Maya says the church isn't called St. Joan. And I'm like, that's not the fucking point. It's not that she's trying to be a saint. It's that every time Tony is around her, it requires emotional energy. That's what it was really about, y'all. That's what it was really about. Like it was like when you have that type of relationship with a person and they going through it, it is very hard not to get pulled back in to caring about them and empathizing with them. And if I'm in a certain space and I'm trying to work on staying in my body and caring about how I feel, I can't be in church with Donnie McClurkin on and this bitch sitting next to me in a bang wig, looking sad and shit, crying. How am I going to focus on myself? I'm not going to be able to focus on myself. I'm going to feel bad for her because I'm a people pleaser and that's my friend. Yeah, I'm not fucking with her. I'm not trying not to fuck with her. But she going to be up there. She going to be crying. I'm going to feel bad. Now I'm going to have to be there for her. That's why I didn't want her to come to church, because I wanted it to be about myself today. I came to church for me. And if it would have just been Maya and Lynn that came to church, then they would have all been at church, enjoyed church, and then everybody would have went about their way. But no. Tony comes and now it's about Tony. Tell me I'm wrong. But either way, girl, Tony apologizes. I am so sorry for blaming you. I know it's my fault. I know I'm the reason why Greg left me. I know I'm the reason why I lost my job, and I will never have a friend who means as much to me as you. And I know I don't deserve you, but I need you. Joan says, I know it was really hard for you to say that, Tony, and I really appreciate it. But I can't go there with you again. And she takes a deep breath and she moves over, okay? She moves over to the next pew across the across the aisle. And then at some point a man gets up and walks to the front of the church, and y'all know the churches, especially like, non-Catholic churches do this. The Methodist, Baptist, Episcopalian child, whatever the fuck else that's a black church, they'll have a moment where if you need to come up and have somebody pray for you, okay, you just come on up and lay your burden down up here at the altar of the Lord, okay? Come and lay down your burden. That's the point, right? So she goes up there and she crying, and we fall down sometimes, but we get back up again. And Donnie McClurkin is all emotional in the singing of the song because he trying not to be gay, and that's a struggle, okay? And then Donnie says, a just man falls 7 times. And if a just man falls 7 times and gets back up, then what is just, okay? It's not too late. He's waiting for you to confess with a sincere heart and say, Lord, forgive me. And just like that, you're healed. Forgive and forget. Y'all, that is something that church tells you, but that is not how life works. I want y'all to separate the truth from the fake. If you decide that you're going to be a better person, then it's not too late. It's never too late to stop being an ain't shit ass person. It's really not. It's never too late. You could have been the most fucked up person ever. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's not too late to be a better person. Sometimes it's too late for you to regain relationships that you've ruined. Sometimes it's too late to say things you wanted to say because the person is gone or the person don't care no more. But at the end of the day, it's not too late for you to become a better person for yourself and for anybody else that comes into contact with you after that. But that doesn't absolve you. That doesn't absolve you from responsibility for what you've done to other people. Because if we forget, then how do you remember to not do it again if you forget about what you've already done? Yes, you forgive yourself, but you only forgive yourself when you exhibit different behavior. You're not healed just like that. But when you decide, when you make a choice, it then becomes that simple because you then take the step to start working and doing the thing. So then in that moment, when you look back on your life, that moment, I decided to change. So in that instant, I felt like God forgave me because that was the moment I decided to change my route, to be different. And so you could then assign God's forgiveness onto that if you would like. But a lot of it that y'all do is spiritual bypassing, so you don't actually have to do any real work to change what caused the issue from the fucking beginning. And this shit is cute, right? And I'm not saying that people aren't sincere. Yo, I absolutely believe that every time Donnie McClurkin went and prayed about being gay and feeling guilty about doing something with a man or a boy, a young teenage, because there are stories. And those are the easiest people to take, to control. It's all about control. Who's the easiest person? Because the person that you can control is the person you can do the shit with that's not going to say anything. That's the first thing. Who's the easiest to take advantage of? Who's closer to me, right? Who nobody is going to really care about, not going to listen to. A lot of times niggas are predatory on certain people for a reason. They fuck with certain people for a reason so that they can do what they want to do, knowing that they have the most control over the situation so people won't find out. Okay? Also being attracted to younger bodies and all of that shit. But either way, all I could think about was Donnie McClurkin praying and then going back to fucking men. Praying and then going back to fucking men. Praying. And then every time feeling sincere guilt and shame about it. And I don't think you should feel shame and guilt about it. I think you should unwrap yourself from that. I think you should not believe that lie. I think you should not believe that lie. If you actually go and historically look it up or read books, people have always been gay prior to your religion being created. And gayness wasn't even really a problem until a certain time period, far after Christianity had already been created. But depending on who's in control, they use the Bible. They can use and change wording and all of that so that they can use it to manipulate people and control people. Because if you're gay, then you're not, especially before this was scientifically possible. We don't want you to be gay, not because it has anything to do with God, because we don't even care about that. If we're being real, the people who told us this, they only cared about procreating. And if you're gay, you're not procreating. So we don't want men to feel safe to like other men, because then they won't unnecessarily have babies all over the place. And women, it's the same thing. You won't be out here having, a whole bunch of kids that you don't really want if you feel safe to be with a woman and you're attracted to the same sex. So we don't want y'all to feel safe to do that. So we tell y'all not to do it so that y'all can have children so we can enslave them. And we need slaves. We need slaves. We need kids to fuck. We need people to control. And that usually happens when everybody's having a whole bunch of children that they can barely take care of. Because if you were having children that you were really able to, successfully take care of in a safe environment, then you wouldn't be in survival mode. Those children would not be at risk of being taken advantage of. That's why they don't want to actually help poor people maintain households, because they want your children to fall into the wasteland so that they can fuck them or use them for shit. Child, we all tried to pray the gay away at some point. I used to feel bad about masturbating. You learn to feel shame about anything dealing with sex or your body in this country specifically. Always shame and guilt about whatever you're experiencing. Your shame and your guilt makes you a terrible person. Because what ends up happening is you hate yourself, right? Shame and guilt. Hate myself. So that means however I feel about myself, I project it out onto other people. That's just, because we're mirroring. We're mirroring. That's what's happening. And it's sad, girl. It's sad. But that's what was going on in this song. So his messaging is problematic to me, especially because what ends up happening is Tony performs being changed until it wears off. And that's what happens a lot of the time. That's why all of that, I'm saved, and none of that shit moves me. None of that shit moves me, because as somebody that has been a part of every type of church you could think of, there are always some creepy ass fucked up people that are judging everybody else. People who have done fucked up shit that'll judge me, and I'm like, girl, I ain't never did nothing that bad. But I'm gay, so you better than me, I guess. That's another thing. That's a way for people to virtue signal. They want to feel like they're better than somebody. And I don't know what the fuck that's about. Like, yeah, that's how you feel? Just every day in your body walking around, you need to feel like you better than somebody? You can't just exist? But But Joan go up there and hold her hand because Joan, just like everybody else in this scene, was crying and losing their shit. So she go up there and she hold her hand, and then we all start crying even more. Get back up again. Yeah, y'all. And then they're gonna be friends again. Stop being friends for 2 episodes, girl. 2. Let me see. While they peddles in church and impregnated a minor Mary, why we don't talk about how Jesus' mother was underage? Because they think being gay is worse than fucking kids. Boop. We need to deal with that shit. Okay? We need to deal with that. And them are the ones that give religion a bad look. I think religion is bad within itself because of how it's organized. It's organized to separate. It's organized to create like a one size fits all remedy to spiritual connection. And I feel like that is something that you really have to search within for. So that's why I don't like religion, because I feel like with a lot of people, it takes you away from the inner work that needs to happen. Right? Like that. Because that's not what's actually taught in church, the inner work. That's not, nobody teaches that at church. Sometimes it almost feels like, even that's why I get mad about people, not mad, but it annoys me when people say shit like, y'all not putting God first. Girl, what the fuck does that mean? Be specific with me. What does that mean? Y'all marriage ended because y'all didn't put God first. Girl, what? What does that mean? In real life, putting God first a lot of the time should mean putting yourself first. Don't dishonor yourself. Don't be a people pleaser. Don't put other people in front of yourself, but also don't be like fucked up and selfish. Treat people how you would want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like the girl, they got rules. So true. I think pregnancy in young girls sometimes happens because they're too ashamed to be carrying condoms. Don't want to be shamed for protecting themselves, but still have all of those urges that they're gonna lie to you about. Like, come on. Like, that's why I'd be like, we just being dumb at this point. You don't want the truth. You just want to live in la la land and then be mad at people and judge them for the shit that continues to happen. You know what I mean? Ooh, girl. Thank you, very happy Mondays for the super chat. It's never too late to stop being an ain't shit ass person. Funny and true. See, sometimes I say shit, I didn't even know I said that, girl. Thank you. It's never too late. It's never too late. The vampires in Twilight have this kind of drug-like aura, which is why Bella was so down bad in the second movie, because she was essentially going through withdrawal. No, girl. And that's exactly how it feel. Oh my God. Haven't y'all gone through? Like, that's what I was talking about when I said how you have to not do so much or give away so much or fall so deeply into the illusion when you're in relationships, because if things go wrong, and a lot of times they do, you end up feeling like this. No, girl, I understood it. That's why back in the day when I was reading it, it was one of my favorite books, because I totally understood what it was like to feel like I was going through withdrawals from being in a relationship with somebody. Yeah, girl. I talk about it all the time about certain, relationship dynamics creating like a drug like addiction. And yeah, because she was down bad, girl. And when I tell you, I absolutely understood what it was like. The way they depicted it, and her pain and the longing, and like literally kind of feeling like I would rather die than continue to live this life without this person. And that nigga over there trying to die, girl. In real life, these niggas is not dying. It's just you. It's just you. It's usually just you, girl. It's a trick. Religion is never good. Plus, how only men wrote the Bible and that the Bible doesn't have all the books. Child, that specifically. A person's sexuality is a bigger conversation than a PDF file liking kids. Conversation that is wild. No, it is. Okay, I had to read it, girl. Yeah, no, it is wild, right? Like, grown ass people fucking. We're upset. Ew, stop it. It's unnatural. Dude fucking kids. Listen, everybody be quiet, okay? Don't anybody say anything about it. That's your uncle, okay? Just make sure you cover yourself up around him, because apparently when he snatched your clothes off you the last time, this time maybe he won't, because you have clothes on. So that means he won't assault you. Girl! Something is wrong with the people. I love y'all for this Saturday conversation. I love y'all for this, because I needed this. This was nice. Thank y'all so much. I personally disconnected. There's no honor in self-sacrifice. There isn't. There really isn't. Like in the grand scheme of things, like no, I cannot. You know what I'm saying? And it is about what type of person you want to be too. Like I don't want to be a selfish person. I do want to be of service when I can be, but I'm not going to put myself in harm's way to do it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all. I hope y'all have a really good day. It's pretty outside. I got a massage at 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna go and feed my body so I don't be stomach growling on the table. The lifestyle comment always takes me out because it's not a lifestyle, it's my life. No, for real. That you can't be mad that people don't agree with your lifestyle. Girl, choke on a fucking lifestyle. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You sound dumb. You sound dumb. When people say that shit, they sound so fucking dumb. Like nobody cares about what you agree with, lady. Like nobody cares. You just want an opportunity to shit on somebody. Like to me, that's what it feels like. A lot of times, like the women that are obsessed with sexuality and all of that, a lot of times these are some of the most miserable bitches you will ever meet. I'm just saying. Hey Brandon, thank you. Marriage ended because you didn't put God first. Not because he was knocking your head between the washing machine and the dryer. Right. Right. No, thank you. This is a great conversation. No, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming through today. And I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. And I'll talk to y'all later. All right. Bye.